The wacky world of Multimedia J.
Well, here's what it looks like. This is the rough draft / first experiment with swapping the glass on the boob lights to make them not look so much like boob lights. It is a little tacky though when you start backing away from the boob light, the former boob light, and you can start seeing that, for example, the electric sockets are going in two directions instead of coming out from the middle. So it's a little stupid looking, but at least it also gives off better light. Maybe because this glass is brand new. So I'm going to run this by the landlord before I do this in any large amount. This is just to test things out. It also needs some more hardware too because, yeah, the boob light middle screw thing is on nice and tight, but there's nothing above the glass. So we need at least one more nut above the glass to hold it in place from the other side, along with a retaining washer, before this can be in any way, shape, or form secure. But it does allow the bulbs to breathe, so to speak. It's probably better for heat dissipation. It just looks tacky because you can see the aluminum from the top of the boob light fixture over when you get too far away from it. So I don't know, I might just suck it up and keep the boob lights after all. But I do think, because of the difference in the lighting, that I should probably take the original glass, and I should probably take the original, well, probably gotta zoom out of it, oh no. I should probably take the original glass and clean it up, because it looks like there might have been some things burning up in there that charged some of it at some point. No signs of a fire or anything, but that might be the reason why this landlord uses boob lights in the first place, because they have a lot thicker glass. They'd probably be a lot more resistant to breaking if someone had like some hyperactive kid in here that was throwing stuff in the house. So I'm sure that's why he uses them. They're not the cheapest light fixture, but they appear to be the sturdiest. I know this is probably a heck of a lot more breakable than the boob lights, but it looks a little less tacky, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it. The real issue here is I want to be able to use my LED lights, and the big problem with LEDs is you can't put them in sealed fixtures because the lack of airflow can fry the circuit boards that power them. So it's going to be a real, well, I'm still using my lamps over by the couch anyways for LED lighting, so I don't know at this point. I think I'm going to clean up the boob light glass, change it back, and see how bright it is relative to this. But this does at least allow for better heat dissipation. And if the glass breaks, it's my own glass that broke and not the landlord's. So that's where we're at in terms of the boob light conversion. There's also a fixture on Amazon that costs the same, but it has a rounded piece of glass that would make it semi-flush. And if I could just find something to hang on here besides the boob light glass, it might solve the tackiness problem entirely. And just for comparison, ooh, wait a minute. Look at that. Look, the camera's going nuts because of all the extra light. I took the bowl out of the boob light and I cleaned it like it was a glass bowl over in the sink with some detergent and then dried it off, and maybe half the problem with these boob lights is that they just need to be cleaned. I wonder when the last time anyone cleaned these darn things. That looks actually pretty good. Okay, I think I'm going to scrap my idea for replacing the glass. I'll just got to find a way to make this semi-flush. Maybe bring the boob light thing down like a little bit of space so it's not flush. If there's a way I can do that without, making it unsafe or anything, I just got to get some airflow in there, and then I can put the LEDs in. Otherwise, I'm stuck with CFs. Or I could just turn them off and use lamps. Not like it gets too dark in here if I use my my lamps, but interesting. All issues with the ugly boob lights aside, ugh, what a mess. Yes, folks, the great sift is underway. I am sifting through all the loose electronics I have and figuring out what's getting recycled, what's getting sent over to the local vendors, and what's going somewhere else, because I am not keeping this place in this shape. I mean, it looks like I just finished moving in. Oh wait, I did just finish moving in. But anyways, I'm not going to be able to say that in a couple of weeks or a month, so I want to sift through everything. Plus, the number one lesson from the last place was clutter. Clutter slows you down. Clutter gets in your way. Clutter messes you all up. clutter is not something, it's baggage that you shouldn't walk through life with. And that's the very lesson that I have, excuse me, it also makes your attempts to move a little bit more, it also makes your attempts to move a little bit more difficult, so to speak, if you have to move, because you have all this clutter you now have to sift through, have a yard sale, eBay it, something like that. Hey, someone responded to my PS2 discussion earlier. Nice. Still rocking the candle because it's still Christmastide until a little after New Year's. I just gotta figure out what to do about this boob light situation. I should try cleaning the bowls on all the boob lights and see how much better they look. Maybe I shouldn't be trying to make them into semi-flushes and stuff like that. I could do everything with the lamps, actually. I could do most of everything I want to do here with the lamps and not even need the boob lights. So, we'll figure it out. Anyways, it's time to look at the next item up for bid. No, just kidding. So this is the next system that I'm going to be parting ways with over here. This is the Nintendo Game Boy Advance AGS. Oh, it's still running from earlier. That's your proof that it works. The Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP AGS 101, so it's backlit instead of frontlit. This is the kind of device where, I would go around pretending it was a cell phone back in the day. Yeah, maybe that was the intent with the design. You just flip it open and just, hello, how are you? Can't do that nowadays in the day and age of smartphones, but I was charging it back up to make sure it would still take a charge, because I'm the original owner of this. A little bit of scratchiness on the front, but it's an AGS 101. That's the most important part here. It's actually an AGS 101, which has the backlit screen instead of the frontlit screen. Now, the market price for these is 40-something, so I imagine it's worth 20-something in store credit, and if I can't dig anything out on that shelf that they have down there that I actually want to swap this with, I can always just take it back with me and hold on to it until they cycle some more inventory over there. So, I'll just see what's going on, but that's what's hitting the brakes on all of this. As far as the Great Sift is concerned, though, there's some other vendors that I'll be getting involved with some of this electronics, and then the rest can be recycled at the town recycling center. I imagine I could probably take a day off or something, because they have early morning to early afternoon hours, so I have no chance of going down there unless I leave early on a certain day. Actually, that's probably the better option. Take a VTO or something and go out to the recycling center. And maybe when the volume drops off, as it usually does around mid-January at the warehouse, and they're looking for people who will volunteer to leave early, so I can get on board with that. I do, however, want that area over there to eventually be the project area where I work on stuff. So I need to get it in order. The only way that the Silver Bullet's ever coming back, or the Delosaurus is getting anything else done with it, is if I clean up this mess. Also, the property owners around here have a bit of a problem with folks kind of making messes around here, so if I turn out to be if I can be more neat and tidy, they'll really like me and want me to stay. Because the neighborhoods around here, there's some folks that you don't know how they live that way. It's just their backyard, their front yard, their porch, total rat's nest. I'm surprised none of them have had complaints filed against them with the town's blight ordinance. It'd be nice if I could be a notch above that garbage. So, literally, because that is piles of garbage and other stuff. So, there are folks in this town that live like pigs, and I hope I can do better than that. And by pigs, I mean sloppy, not like cops. I don't refer to police officers as pigs anyways, because at the end of the day, they're just folks trying to do their job, just like anybody else with a job. So, you can't fault them for that. If they do unethical stuff, I mean, that's totally a different issue, because unethical stuff is bad. But we're not here to talk about unethical cops. We're here to talk about the future and what it holds here at the Geek House. Once I get all of this sorted out, I do have plans. And I do want to get this to the point where the clutter is gone and I can stop tripping over all this stuff. And that won't be too hard to do. First, I intend on doing a highlights reel of the Great Sift, and then once everything is cleaned up, you can see I've got two old computers over there, the Delosaurus and an old HP. I think the future of these two systems is actually to be gutted, have their original parts get recycled, and then be retrofitted with newer motherboards that'll fit inside there and used as novelty computers. They look really old, but they don't perform like it. I may even go so far with the Delosaurus as to take off the front plate on the DVD-ROM drive and put it on whatever drive I put in there to replace it with the new motherboard. It'll be an interesting project. Wonder if I could sell that for some money too, because it hasn't yellowed or anything like that horrible old HP over there, but I've got some other computer junk to mess around with that isn't in proper working order. I'd like to fix that, of course. And some more stuff to figure out in terms of what clutter's going where, clean stuff up, and there's a computer vendor that's looking for some stuff to sell. He just opened up shop and wants to fill his cabinets with something, so I could probably give him some things to work with, as well as some old speaker sets that I'm not using anymore. There's one in particular, Logitech Z-Series 500 watts with a 10-inch subwoofer that I barely used before retiring when I decided I didn't want to do any... Oh, wait a minute. Funny, I'm glad I'm recording this now. Here is the GameCube's power block. This is what I've been looking for the GameCube. And I'm looking through all the totes of this electronic stuff, like, where's the GameCube's power block? And, well, here it is. Maybe I can bring the GameCube down to the shop as well. The shop owner at that game store is going to hate me by the time this is all over with, because I'm literally showing up with all this stuff to trade after Christmas. She's probably ready to slap me or something. We'll do it a little at a time, though, as their inventory cycles and maybe stuff comes into the shop that I'm interested in. But I do have now the GameCube, put it all back together, get it ready to send out. I'm probably going to have to sacrifice the controller, because I probably can get more trade value from a Platinum Edition with a matching controller. So I'll get like Indigo or something for controllers afterwards. But anyways, that's what the future holds. A lot of cleaning, a lot of sifting, probably a highlights reel of the great sift as I go through all of this mess and make it no longer a mess. I think even I want to get rid of some of these totes as well, because these totes are kind of like these giant Rubbermaid totes are basically like a first and worst in terms of storage. I just threw a bunch of parts into them, but as you can see, they're not organized, and the more cluttered everything gets, the more cluttered everything gets, the more you don't want to mess with it, because how cluttered it is, especially with wires and cables and stuff going everywhere. So, fortunately, the computer shop that I've touched base with a town or two away from here wants cables to sell, because they sell all kinds of spare cables, because people are sick of getting gouged by Walmart, Target, etc., and they don't want to wait for a monoprice shipment or something to go in, or maybe they don't even have a computer and they don't know about monoprice. You gotta wonder about some of these small businesses, whether they take advantage of stuff that their customers don't know. But as far as the 3 silver lights go, those are daylight lights, and these are all lamps these are all lamps left over from the old place that I use with my blue screening setup. I'm thinking of just spreading them out a bit and using them in lieu of the boob lights for lower wattage lighting in various areas. I just have to walk up to them and turn them on, which won't be that hard to do. I know I can definitely put one in the kitchen and make it real easy to use, but I just got to find some way to use these. It could help with the energy usage here as well, to not have. And if I ever want to do green screen again, just gather them around and probably use the main wall once I get the snow shovels out of the way. Use that main wall over there for any blue screen or green screen I want to do. But this place is in better condition than the place I came from upon move-in. I want to keep it that way. So I have to figure out how would I hang a green screen for something like this without putting any holes in the wall, because I don't want to do that. The paint here is nice and clear coated, it looks nice, and I don't want to do anything that damages that in any way, shape, or form. You know, landlords in these YouTube videos say that if you give renters better stuff, it doesn't matter, they're still not going to take care of it. I'm not so sure I'd agree with that, because I've wanted to keep this place in better shape. Matter of fact, I got to get the duster for whatever that cobweb thing is over there on top of that light that's appeared. Get the duster out and stuff like that. Heck, maybe even get some darn whiteouts for these areas where things got chipped for whatever reason. Wasn't me, of course. I think this probably used to be a wall. Interestingly enough, this geek house used to be the home of my barber back in the day, and as in several decades ago, who raised 2 children in here before he bought his house. So apparently it probably used to be a 2-bedroom. So I think where the geek setup here is, I think where my geek setup is, oof, what a mess. Where the geek setup is right now was probably a bedroom at one point, because that smoke detector is a little superfluous. But the building codes state you need a smoke detector in every sleeping area. So I'm wondering if this was formerly a wall and that used to be a bedroom and the little living room used to be over here, but it's just too darn small these days with how everybody has big TVs and stuff. I mean, in the 50s, when you had like one little box set in the corner and that's it, no home theater or anything, I can imagine something this size, half the size of this little room would work for a living room, but not so much nowadays. So anyways, there will be highlights reels from the Great Sift as I continue doing what I'm doing on here, but this is going to be the finale of the Wacky World of Multimedia J for 2015. For 2016, I will have a new opener, and I will have a new intro video celebrating 10 years of doing this YouTube stuff. And we will probably begin with notes from the Great Sift, or highlights from the Great Sift, as I've sifted through things and things like that. But I do want this season in particular to be essentially a chronological year, because 2016 is about celebrating 10 years of this stuff. Oh yeah, there's the old Optimus mic. It's my new Cortana microphone. Hey Cortana, tell a joke. Ugh, it's looking up LA joke on Bing. Funny jokes, Comedy Central, blah, blah, blah. Let's try that again. Hey, Cortana, tell a joke.
There are 2 types of people in the world. Those who need closure.
Unfortunately, the channel is now off the page over there, but... Alright, let's conclude this series in the chair. There, now I'm in the chair. A little reference to last spring there. Shoutouts, by the way, to my colleagues out in New York for inviting me to go out there for that trip. I don't travel very much, and it was great to finally get a change of scenery from New England for once, and unfortunately that New York trip wound up being the only trip that wound up happening. So, this is it. This is the end of 2015, the year that Back to the Future referred to as the future. I don't know how yours went, but I'll tell you mine was definitely one heck of a year, that's for sure. And there was definitely nerdiness to be had all over the place, though I didn't get to build a new system this year. I'm hoping maybe next year, if AMD can get the Zen out sometime next year, otherwise I may have to consider an Intel system, because this Tuxedo with its Phenom 2 1090T, no, I just can't keep using this chip. I've already skipped the FX series up to this point, and how much longer can AMD take to put out a better chip like this? Plus, you gotta wonder what kind of price skimming is there going to be. Would it be worth it just to build a Skylake system when Cannon Lake comes out, or something along those lines? I don't know at this point, and I would like to have an AMD CPU in my next system, but we'll see what happens anyways. So there was definitely plenty of nerdiness and geekiness to be found in this future year, so to speak. But here's to hoping that 2016 has some good stuff in it too, because all the hype was about 2015. Nerd year, future year, and we even got those screwball things people are calling hoverboards that are more like sideways skateboards that everybody's falling off of, and the darn things keep catching fire and stuff. So yeah, those are not hoverboards, folks. Please don't waste your money on those. They're stupid. That's what they are. They're a fad that's going to be a flashbang pop, pop and drop, here one day, gone the next, because of the whole Back to the Future thing. So I think Segways were better, because you had something you could hold on to when you were tilting back and forth. I mean, really, a Segway without the handle to stabilize yourself is stupid. It's basically a motorized sideways skateboard. So, yeah, 2015 has been an interesting year. If you had any noteworthy stuff happen in 2015 that you'd like to talk about in the comments, feel free to leave a comment. But this concludes the Wacky World of Multimedia J 2015 season. There will be a new opener and a new intro before I resume the season, before I resume this series in 2016. And there is some kind of things that I have to sort out as well. Quicko Flicks might get a new name because Shorter or Simpler has been usually simpler rather than shorter in terms of video, so I don't know, maybe like Multimedia J Express or something like that. But then I have to put in like a train in the intro or something. Anyways, this is it for the Wacky World of Multimedia J for the year 2015. Thanks for watching, everybody. Season playlist will be released not long after this finale uploads. Not much of a finale. I would have liked to have at least brought back the Silver Bullet, but we're out of time. So that'll have to be one of the things that happens next year instead, as I sort out all of this computer stuff once the Great Sift is all said and done with. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Multimedia J signing off. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you all had a great 2015, and Happy New Year!
Get off my computer, you little piece of...